The past is permanent. Your response to it is not. Making peace with the past does not mean saying that everything that happened was acceptable. It means recognizing that you cannot change the event itself while still choosing how you respond to it today. Point 1. Acceptance can also mean accepting your own limitations. You may not have unlimited energy, time, or physical ability. Understanding your current circumstances can help you make realistic choices rather than constantly comparing yourself with your younger self. As you get older, it can be tempting to measure everything against what you used to be able to do. Perhaps you could walk farther, recover faster, work longer, or stay awake later when you were younger. But constantly comparing your present body with your younger body can make you overlook what is still possible today. Accepting your limitations does not mean giving up on your health or becoming inactive. It means being realistic about your current abilities and choosing activities that are appropriate for you. For example, staying active might mean walking, doing appropriate strength exercises, practicing balance, or simply moving regularly throughout the day. The right level of activity depends on your health, fitness, and individual circumstances. The goal is not to become your younger self again. The goal is to make the most of the body and abilities you have today. Point 2. You also have to accept that some decisions cannot be undone. Maybe you chose the wrong career. Maybe you stayed in a relationship too long. Maybe you moved somewhere you later regretted. Or perhaps you turned down an opportunity because you were afraid. It is natural to wonder what life might have looked like if you had chosen differently, but there is a point where asking that question repeatedly stops being useful. You cannot go back and make the decision again. What you can do is understand why you made it. Recognize what you learned, and use that knowledge when making decisions today. Your past decisions help shape your life, but they do not have to determine every decision you make. From now on, point 3. Another part of making peace with the past is accepting that some people will not change in the way you hoped they would. You may have spent years hoping someone would understand you, apologize, become more responsible, or treat you differently. Sometimes that change happens, sometimes it does not. You cannot control another person's choices. What you can control is how you respond. You can communicate clearly, establish reasonable boundaries, choose when to engage, and decide how much of your emotional energy you want to give to the situation. Acceptance does not mean tolerating harmful behavior. It means recognizing reality and responding to it in a way that protects your well-being. Point 4. You may also need to accept that some opportunities are gone. There may have been places you wanted to visit, skills you wanted to learn, experiences you wanted to have, or things you planned to do but kept postponing. It is easy to look backwards and think, I should have done that years ago. But regret becomes less useful. When it prevents you from noticing what is still possible, you may not be able to recreate the exact opportunity you missed, but there may be another version of the experience that is still available. Perhaps you cannot travel exactly as you once imagined, but you can explore somewhere suitable for your current circumstances. Perhaps you cannot pursue the same career, but you can learn a new skill or share the knowledge you already have. The important question is not always what you missed. Sometimes it is what remains possible. Point 5, making peace with the past, also means accepting that your life may not look exactly as you once imagined. Most people have an idea of how their future will unfold. They imagine a particular career, family life, financial situation, retirement, or lifestyle. But real life rarely follows a perfect plan. Circumstances change, health can change. Relationships change, financial situations change. Unexpected responsibilities can appear. When reality looks different from the plan, it is understandable to feel disappointed. But a different life is not automatically a failed life. You can acknowledge the disappointment while still asking, what can make your current life meaningful? Sometimes that means changing your expectations, finding new interests, strengthening relationships, or creating new routines that fit your current circumstances. Point 6, you cannot control every change that comes. With getting older, your body may move differently. Your energy may change. Certain activities may become more difficult. But accepting those changes does not mean ignoring your health. It means adapting sensibly and seeking appropriate medical advice when something changes or concerns you. Point 7. Another lesson is learning that you cannot control what other people think about you. You may spend years trying to meet expectations, avoid criticism, or prove yourself. But eventually, you may realize that other people's opinions are not completely within your control. You can behave with kindness and integrity, but you cannot decide how everyone will judge you. Point 8. You may also need to accept that some relationships naturally change. A close friend may move away. Family members may become busy with their own lives. People you once saw every day may become part of your life. Only occasionally that can be difficult. But accepting change can help you appreciate the relationships that are still present, rather than constantly trying to recreate the past. Point 9. You cannot recover every moment you missed. But you can pay more attention to the moments that are still here. Point 10. You cannot control every outcome, but you can control many of the choices you make today. Point 11. You cannot make yourself younger, but you can still support your health and stay as active as your abilities allow. Point 12. You cannot change every person around you, but you can choose your boundaries and how you respond. Point 13. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can stop postponing the things that still matter today. Point 14. Perhaps the most important part of making peace with the past is learning to stop punishing yourself for being human. You may look back and see mistakes that seem obvious now, but the person you were decades ago did not have the knowledge and perspective you have today. Experience changes the way we see our decisions. That does not mean mistakes should be ignored. If something can still be repaired appropriately, taking responsibility can be valuable. If an apology is needed and appropriate, you can consider making one. If a lesson can still improve your behavior, you can apply it, but there's a difference between responsibility and endless self-punishment. You can say, I wish I had handled that differently, without saying I must spend the rest of my life suffering because of it. Learning from the past is useful. Living permanently inside your mistakes is not. Point 15. In the end, making peace with what you cannot change is not about pretending that life was perfect. It is about recognizing that your past is finished, while your present still exists. There may be decisions you regret. There may be people you miss. There may be opportunities you wish you had taken. There may be circumstances you never wanted and could never control. Those things can be part of your story, without becoming the whole story. You can still choose how you spend your time. You can still care for your health in ways that are appropriate for you. You can still strengthen meaningful relationships. You can still learn. You can still move your body within your abilities. You can still ask for help when you need it. And you can still find purpose in ordinary days. The goal is not to erase the past. The goal is to learn from it without allowing it to take away the present, because the past is permanent, but your response to it is not.